Hello there, this is Jerry. Welcome to another JavaScript lesson. I will be showing you how to use if and else if statements in its basic logic sequence. Okay, let us create a program that takes in numerical values as if it were percentage grades and return a letter along with a message. To begin, we begin inside the script tag. Need a function. Let's name this function grade scale. Then we have curlies, and the curlies are located on the keyboard next to the letter P key on the keyboard. Then we need to declare two variables. One will be the input, the other will be the output. So to declare a variable, we start with var. We'll name this variable the input variable grade and set that equal to document.get element by ID. We'll name this ID input and give this input the value property and end it there with a semicolon. The value property is used with HTML elements that has an attribute called value, such as the button tag and input tag. In this case, we'll use the input tag so that the user will be able to input a number, or you can say a numerical grade on the web page. And the value attribute, it can be set to a or equal to a string or a number. Okay, then we need to declare a second variable for the output. We will call this, say, result, and set that equal to document.get element by ID. Give this name the output ID name. End it there. The result variable will have something like this, like will inherit something called InnerHTML property, and it will set to equal to a string, and this string will be a message or whatever the user types in. Then the result will be a letter grade along with a message. For right now, for this, for each, there will be a statement like this whole statement, result.innerHTML, inside every if and else if statements. For right now, we're going to leave that out. But in this case, as I mentioned, the InnerHTML property is changes or gets the contents of a HTML element. The content may contain strings, variables, HTML elements themselves, and so strings and HTML elements are to be surrounded by double quotes, and along with their attributes surrounded by single quotes, just to distinguish between the two. So, basically, in this case, if you had variables, you would need to separate. It would need to be separated by a plus symbol. That's on the keyboard. when you have a string and a variable, because a variable will be a standalone and nothing around it, just by itself. And then when you finish with it, when you finish with the inner HTML statement, you end it with the semicolon. So, okay. Now on to the if statement. To declare if statement, we start something called, we'll say if, then we have parens. That's the 9 and the 0 on the keyboard. Then we have the curlies. Then we have like the else if to follow the chain. So inside the parens, there's something called the condition, or you can say the expression. It's basically if you want to test the condition or expression, can be something if you want to compare what's bigger, what's smaller, or what's equal to, or simply an assignment. And those have to be a true statement, especially if you have, if it's a nested, if you have a chain with if and else if and a series of else if. When you have those, the first statement that is true will run. So it always starts with, so it starts from the top to see whether it's true or false. If it's false, it'll go to the next one until it finds a true condition. And then anything inside here inside the curlies would do something, print out, you know, a letter, print out something, say something, or do something, you know, pop up a new window, or, you know, to make the web page, the color of the web page green and stuff like that. So, you know, like for the assignment, you know, if you're not comparing between what's smaller or bigger, what's equal to, you will have something, you know, you can say you can set a variable and set that to a value, you know, and then do something. And I'll show you more about assignments and you know, more comparison between variables or what to compare, and yeah, so in more videos. But in this case, we're talking about grade. Okay, so for grade, we'll say grade is greater or equal to greater or equal to 90, and grade is less than or equal to 100. So we set its restriction between 90 and 100. So these symbols, less than or equal to, like, yeah, these symbols, and there's many more, like, you know, less than, equal to, they're all part of this. They're all part of the, you know, the name. The former name is something called the comparison operators, and there will be more on this in another video. But I will put a description. I'll put it in the description below as a reference for more operators on this, as well with the two ands. That can be found on the number 7 on the keyboard. So it's basically joining between two conditions, combining two conditions, two separate conditions. Pretty much it's like a nested if combined in one, pretty much. So and this is called the logical operator, and this is in the and I have this in the description below. So the next thing, as we said, the result dot gets or inherits the inner HTML property in JavaScript. So and then set that equal to, you can say you got an A, excellent, semicolon at the end. So next one, else if it's not greater than 90 and less than 100, less than or equal to 100, then it will test for the next condition. If so like we said before, say if grade is greater, let's see, greater or equal to 80, and grade is less than or equal to 90. So we can say result dot inner HTML, put that equal to you got a B, great. Okay, the next one, let's copy and paste here. Let's Control C. Yeah, okay. Control V. Okay. Now, if grade is greater than or equal to 70, and grade is less than or equal to 80. Oh, actually, sorry. Above here, not equal for 90s, just less than 90, and below here is just less than 80, because we already included an equal from the above conditions, so less than 80. So then you got, see, you got a C. What can we say? Aim higher. Next thing, if grade is greater or equal to 60, and grade is less than 70, you got a D. You have failed your class. Well, let's not put that. Let's put that for F. Let's put I'm sorry. You need to study. Oh, yeah, you need to study. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So this one, the last condition in terms of grades will be, yeah, so grade be less than, if else grade is less than 60, you can say you got an F. Yeah, you got an F. Let's say, see, you have failed your class. So the next thing we should test an else. Yeah. To test the else. This ensures that if anything else were to type in, like a symbol, a letter, you know, anything else beside a letter, beside a number, then something I want to have something to an alert box to pop up saying that please type in a numerical grade in order for a to have a proper response to the program. So so curly's, say window, the window object, alert method, and inside the parens we have something, a string, say invalid grade, please enter a numerical grade. Then we end it semicolon after that. And the alert method, you can have strings, variables, without the double quotes. You can have objects, object that can, object method that can return a value, or string. And I'll show you more on this about the alert method in another video. Yeah. Okay. Now we completed our function. Let's head over to the interface. Inside the interface, it's called inside interface is called, we have the body. Everything inside the body is the interface of the web page. And as you can see, I have the style equal to text align center. So I would like to have a heading called, let me just put it in H1 size and say grade scale. Then we want to prompt the user, enter your numerical grade. Now have a bracket, breaking space, line breaks. Then we'll have the input tag as the input. The type was to be set to text, And there's many different types of types for input, like checkboxes, button, and I'll show you more in another video. And the input is widely used for forms or any other inputs um, that can be used. So then, yeah, type text, which can have numbers and um, strings and you know, yeah. So and this will have an ID input, and this input, like we said before, right above. Let's scroll up. This is the input ID, and that's grade, and that's that's what the user is comparing. The condition. Okay, let's scroll back down, and then we have the output ID. Next, we need something to trigger the function to operate or engage, or what not engage, what to operate or initiate, and we'll use the button tag, you know, for the user to click on the button, and I have an on-click event attribute, and set that equal to the function name. On-click attribute can take in a function or a script. So in this case, we want the function to be triggered. So the name of the function is grade scale. You can close the button. Then we need to name our button. Let's name it "What's my grade?" What's my we'll say what's my letter grade. The next will be, I want to have a horizontal line, the HR tag, and then below it will be the result. I'll call this span, and the ID of that is the output. And we can also put anything between the span, but I'll just leave it as it is, because when the user click the button, then the result will appear where that span element is on the web page. So yeah, and that's about, that should be about it. Okay, so now we can save. Okay, file, save. We can go ahead and launch it in Chrome. Okay, now let's type in numerical grade 100. What's my letter grade? You got an A. Excellent. 94%. You got an A. Excellent. 86. You got a B. Great. 73. You got a C. Aim higher. 62. You got a D. You need to study. Then anything below a 60, like a 59, you got an F. You have failed your class. Any other to test that last else statement, a pop-up alert box should come up. So like a symbol like I don't know, a $sign. Invalid grade. Please enter your numerical grade. What else? Let's see. You know, yeah, numerical grade. Yeah. Letter K. You know, invalid grade because grade. Remember grade was set to a number, and it's expecting a comparison between two numbers, and that's why it's invalid. So now we've completed our lesson. We completed the program, and that's about it. Yeah. Thank you for watching. We have completed our lesson. You are welcome to subscribe, comment, and share. You may go to the discussion area for the requests about any web programming lessons or projects you would like me to show you.